Welcome back. The NFL Divisional Championships up this weekend. The NFC and AFC Championship games leading, of course, into the big game that's coming up. Sportscaster and former NFL lineman Mike Golic is one of more than 34 million people in the U.S. that are living with diabetes. Now, that is a condition that can be a challenge to manage, and it doesn't get any easier when you attend these type of big events. Mike joining us this morning, along with registered dietitian and certified diabetes care and education specialist Hope Warshaw. Welcome to both of you.
Thank you.
Glad to be here.
Well, as a former pro football player and more importantly a Notre Dame graduate, Super Bowl Sunday is coming up. And Mike, I got to first ask you, first of all, quick prediction, who's going to make it? Is it going to be the Rams hosting it?
You know what? We had never seen it in the NFL until last year with Tampa Bay. I think we're going to get it 2 years in a row. I think LA is going to host it. And while Kansas City is tough to bet against, boy, I have a feeling the upstart Cincinnati may make it to play LA in the big game.
Because we'd love to see sort of that Cinderella matchup. That would be great. Yes. I want to dive into your game plan when it comes to your own diabetes. First of all, how difficult was it to manage as a professional athlete, and how does that translate now that you're no longer playing the game?
Well, it definitely was difficult at first. And again, you gave the number 34 million. I put everything in kind of a sports verbiage. Think of 485 sold out football stadiums. That's how many people are dealing with diabetes. A lot of people. And listen, when I found out, it was, now my father had been diagnosed with it, but still it was a bit shocking to me. And I had to kind of learn how I was going to deal with it with my wife. And I do everything football wise. So I got a game plan. My doctor was my coach, and I used anything I could from my wife, like I said, to my doctor as coach and teammate, to kind of deal with this. And the biggest thing I learned is everybody, all those 34 million, all deal with it differently. Mm-hmm. What works for one maybe doesn't work for another. So as part of it, I really enjoyed interviewing some former professional athletes, Kyle Love from football and John Kruk from baseball, about their individual journeys with diabetes as far as it goes into the Talking Type U campaign. And it really is an eye-opener on how everybody individually deals with diabetes, something that I had to learn.
Hope, let's bring you in here right now, because I'd like to ask you about things like the big game, these types of big events. We're just coming out of the holiday season, and how difficult it is with someone with diabetes to sort of manage that when they're bombarded by so much, new foods and things that they probably shouldn't be eating.
So managing food is clearly a very central aspect of managing diabetes. But what people need to really take on is that making these changes really becomes a lifestyle, and that you really need to approach this holistically in terms of your health and wellness. And, I think if people can eat well 80%, 90% of the time, and then make some room for those splurges, I think that's a good sort of long-term game plan, if you will.
And you can both answer this, because Mike experiencing this as well. The question I have is, when you've got a very large generation, people that maybe were not diabetic, that are now sort of approaching pre-diabetes because of their lifestyle and whatnot, can you turn that back? How do you bring that back for someone who might be experiencing that?
So what I think you're referring to is some of the buzz out there about reversing pre-diabetes or reversing type 2 diabetes. Mm-hmm. I mean, once people are diagnosed with prediabetes, they are very much on the road to developing type 2 diabetes. So, I mean, really, my biggest message to people is find out early and get into action immediately to do the lifestyle changes, become physically active, do the glucose monitoring that you need to do to figure out what is working for you and what is not working for you.
Mm-hmm. And Mike?
Well, I mean, yeah, it is a lifestyle. So people say, oh, how did you diet to lose weight? I said, I didn't diet. I said, it's a lifestyle change. Okay. And as Hope mentioned before, I'm like an 85-9% good, 10 to 15% bad, because I can't completely cut that off. I think that's an unrealistic thing to think about. The biggest thing I did was I embraced technology. Okay, I was very basic, but then now I'm 59 years old. I embrace the technology, and with one-touch solutions, it shows me and gives me customized programs like with Fitbit, Noom, WellDoc, Cecilia Health. These are applications that I can use and programs that I can use from my one-touch glucose monitor with my numbers. It goes into these different programs. I feed that information. It gives me information back. I can chat. I can have a live chat with somebody like Hope to give me answers that I need. So the biggest thing I say is use other people. Use a team. Again, team sports all my life. Use the team around you. Use the people around you to help you with your game plan.
And where can people go to get more information on this?
They can go to talkingtypeu.com, and that's where you'll be able to hear some of the interviews that I talked about with other pro athletes. And quite honestly, you have a chance in a sweepstakes to win some health-related prizes like home gym equipment and things like that. But talkingtypeu.com is the place to go for that info.
All right. Hope Warshaw, Mike Golic, I want to thank you this morning for your insight into this. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mike.